It is so calming because there's no phones, there's no people talking to you. You don't hear anything but the ocean, and you're just underwater. It's just yourself, and it's very relaxing, very calming.
Welcome to the Creative and Code podcast.
Welcome to the internet, my friend.
Brought to you by ID Digital Agency.
Kind of a big deal.
Dive into the dynamic world of digital marketing, creative design, and coding with top experts, latest trends, and actionable insights. Let's get inspired and innovate together.
It's showtime.
Number 12.
Baker's dozen's 13, isn't it?
It's just a straight up
normal
dozen.
Yes.
A non-baker's dozen.
Yeah. Oh, we're
Just
on an angle,
a
so I'll
regular
just tilt
person's.
that. Yeah.
Wait, you're not going to do it now? You're going to do it in post?
I will. I'll do it in post and you watch and it'll go like this.
This is quality podcasting, people.
It is.
Post-production.
I think you get to a point where, I don't know, we've become a lot more relaxed. We're not so, welcome to Creator and Code.
Like this. I can see like
I said Creator and Code. It's Creative and Code.
Creative and Code.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great. It's about 40 days left before Christmas now.
Yikes. That
No,
can't be
it's
right.
not. It's just under 50.
I think there's 40
Business
business
days.
days left.
Yeah.
But in that time, I'm only working 30 of them. Maybe not even that.
Yeah, because you're off this Friday,
27.
and then you finish on the something of December.
9th or something. I'm going on holiday.
Yes.
So for any clients
Deserved
listening,
break.
this is the way I'm telling you.
Off to the UK. No.
No, my clients know. I'm joking.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going on holiday. So if
But you can't wait. Get some tan on that face, Emily.
Oh yeah,
Hey?
get some tan in freezing cold
Oh yeah,
Germany.
it's going to be snowy like Bridget
it's going to be
Jones'
so
Diary.
cold. Yeah, that's why I'm going to Perth this weekend. I'll get tanned and then I can go for winter. Yeah.
Hey, did we get our newsletter out?
No, I haven't had time to do it.
We'll do it this week.
I've been meaning to do it. I was going to do it today, but then I keep getting all these meetings.
You get thrown into
People
a
just want to talk
podcast.
to me. Yeah.
exactly.
So I'm either today or tomorrow. So if any newsletter fans are
wanna
watching,
do
you'll be
it.
getting the newsletter at some point when I have time to do it. Yes.
So today we were going to have Jonathan Adam on. He is a project manager of sorts as well. So he'll be with us next week. He had to look after his kid today, which is fair. And he's going to be with us next week, which is going to be awesome. He works at Reese Plumbing, quite high up. And he was actually a work experience person that worked with us about 8 or 9 years ago.
Really?
Yeah, so he's gone upwards and onwards, and yeah, that's how I met him, was through work experience. So yeah, he'll be here next week. This week we have Flo, our project manager. Yeah, or Florian.
Florian.
Yeah. Do you have a nickname now?
Me?
Yeah.
No. It just calls me Emily.
Emily.
Yeah. No.
We've got to come up with a
I'm not good
nickname.
enough a friend of anyone to have a nickname.
Fair enough. But yeah, so
I'm joking.
we're not going to do news today because Flo's interview went for quite a while.
And also there's no news.
In a good way.
Because there's been... I feel like as quickly moving as the tech world is, it's not moving quickly enough to generate really interesting new pieces of news week on week.
Yeah, and
unfortunately.
even just finding something that's worth talking about, by the time we talk about it, it's already old news.
It's
It's
true.
happening that fast, I reckon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the world we live in.
It is.
Am I right?
ChatGPT's just come out with more tone kind of stuff, and then you've got all these new code builders. You've got phenomenal things that are happening. And yeah, I'm trying to get on one of our other ex-work experience people who's actually then worked with us for 5 years, Elliot. Good mates with his dad now because of the work experience, and his dad's given us a lot of work. But now he's going to be working on a startup in Silicon Valley, and he'll be starting that in February next year. So trying to get him on the podcast before he heads off, just to hear his experience. He's going to be lead engineer for about 20 engineers in Silicon Valley on a startup. So yeah, amazing. It's great to see
Good
that,
stuff.
yeah, working here takes you places. So, no, it's good.
It's a little promo for us.
Yeah. So yeah, know what's in the news, but what else has been happening with you, Emily?
When did we last film this?
A week ago. Feels like a while ago, doesn't it?
I don't know what's happened in the last week.
Just been head down,
Yeah,
smashing out the work.
Pissy. Doing lots of reporting. I've been integrating things into Looker.
Looker Studios. Yeah.
Just some new connections that I haven't worked with before. Things like Pinterest and I think that was it.
Using some of those connectors as well. We're using paid connectors in Looker Studio.
Yes,
And they
I'm
seem
now
to
on
be a lot more accurate, yeah.
Power My Analytics is the one. I mentioned in a previous episode that a very popular connector by the name of Supermetrics doesn't produce accurate data. So that's me publicly calling out Supermetrics. Power My Analytics, all the numbers check out. It's correct. So they are much better. So I would recommend that. They do have like a more limited library of connectors. So, but it works. There's still a lot. But yeah, I'd rather have a smaller amount and they actually produce the right data versus having a ridiculous amount of connectors for everything and then none of them work. So yeah, I've been kind of working pretty heavily in Looker Studio. I feel like the problem is it is a limited software and I'm kind of reaching the ceiling of how much stuff I can shove in one report before it starts to lag. So it's kind of slow going when you kind of get to that point. So I just need to restart Chrome every so often.
That happens, especially if you're editing. There's so many things that can go into Looker Studio.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, good luck with that.
Yeah, thank you. How has your week been?
It's been interesting. We secured some more work with a bathing hot springs place. I guess, you're going to figure out what that is. But there's some exciting stuff there. We're going to a launch of their eco lodges soon. We're putting together, we just upgraded their website too with some new image galleries and some better filters for their news and events. One of the big interesting projects that we're about to commence on is the Sri Lankan side of one of the businesses that we operate now. It's a petroleum company. They've got 150 locations over in Sri Lanka already. And the interesting thing over there, like here, all the different petroleum brands dictate the pricing. The pricing has to be registered with the government 2 weeks beforehand, and then that pricing comes out. So the government knows in advance if there's going to be a spike, if it's going to go up or down in price or whatever it might be. And I think that's just to regulate the industry too, to make sure that people aren't, they're not getting together and price gouging or ripping people off or whatever. But over there, the government sets the price. It's not competitive at all. Like that is the petrol price and you have to charge that amount.
I feel like that's good and bad. Like we don't like private enterprise controlling something as essential as fuel, but also do we like the government controlling something as essential as fuel? I don't think either way is.
I think it's good so long as it's better for the people. But then why would businesses want to flourish and innovate in everything in a place that they're just going to be making the same amount of money?
It gives businesses more reason to innovate in other areas. Like it's not just their fuel prices.
Yeah.
Because I guess the problem here is that fuel places can just like undercut everybody in theory, right?
Exactly.
You can just put your price really low if you want to.
Yeah.
But over there, I guess they have to innovate elsewhere, which is like adding in the discount system and the store locator and things like that. That all start to...
Yeah, the expenses of running a company like that would be phenomenal. And then when you go to the petrol station over there, it's not you're on a motorbike, a car, I can't remember those little taxi things as well. And normally you don't fill it up. You don't get out of your car and do it. A service person will come over and fill it up, and you either ask for 3,000 rupees or you say, I want it filled up or I want 30 litres. So we're looking at fuel discount systems, loyalty programs, websites, store locator, point of sale systems. There's a whole range of stuff that we're looking at now. So it's exciting. So
exciting.
Reviewing
What's
that.
happening?
Yeah, exactly.
Nice.
And we're about to send out like 500,000 emails next week. Huge campaign to transition people from plastic to an app kind of environment. More cost effective for the team and for the client. More data that they can get and understand customer behaviour, etc. I'm talking too much.
Exciting.
I know we've got to get to our interview with Florian.
Yes.
So how about we jump to that? Hang on, you want to say something?
I was just going to say, Flo.
You had my curiosity. Now you have my attention.
This is Flo. Well, Florian, welcome.
Yeah,
Thanks for having me.
Florian.
Sorry, I always call you Flo.
Flo, aka the
Yeah,
fill-in.
Flo the fill-in.
Flo the fill-in. Yeah, we've got Jonathan Adam, who's going to be here next week. And he had to pull the pin because he's looking after his daughter. We can relate.
Good man.
Priorities.
Good man. Yes, we can relate.
Yeah. She's, I think, just under a year old now.
Wow.
So he's going through some hard times. Yeah.
Yeah. The no sleep time.
Yeah.
Little sleep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and you've got yourself a little fella.
I do. Yes, turning 3 in December. So I know all about the no sleep.
Yeah.
But it's getting better. It's
And you
getting
try
better.
so hard to keep to a schedule and But
It's like
sometimes you
work.
just
Exactly. It just doesn't work the way you want it.
Yeah.
Is it a bit like project management?
Exactly.
One may
That's what I was
say.
saying, yeah.
There we go.
A couple of digs going on here already. No, but this is Flo. He's our project manager. You've been with us almost 10 years now.
I started into 15. We're going into 25. That makes it 10 years.
Wow.
Yes.
Almost 10 years.
A 10-year
What
puppy?
month did you start in? Do you remember?
Yes, I started 1st of Feb.
So it is coming
Or
around
actually,
quick.
no, it's 216.
216.
1st of Feb,
Oh, yeah,
216.
because it's not 15
We
to
had the
25.
job interview into 15 in December, I remember. You were just talking about the pregnancy. Darcy, you first.
He's 8 now, so that
Yeah,
makes sense.
Exactly. So, and then 1st of Feb 2016.
Oh, okay.
What-
For
what
9
did-
years.
Okay.
We were back then, we were in Armidale.
Yes.
Weren't we? We were in this like different type of business to where we are now. But what was your thoughts? I have no idea when you walked in for that interview. Were you like, what is this? Was it
liked
different to what?
No, I liked it. It was quite quirky.
Yeah.
Kind of like very like.
That's a
sort of-
nice way of saying it was.
No,
it was
no,
terrible.
No, it wasn't. It was actually nice. I mean, from a sort of business space point of view, we had like a sort of a little divider wall between the meeting room. There was one main sort of boardroom, and then the rest was sort of workspace and a bit of a kitchen. That was sometimes difficult. You could overhear the
Everything.
client talking, and vice versa, the people talking, the devs and us. So yeah, this is definitely an upgrade.
But I remember too, I'd be on the phone and everyone can hear. We had one, I don't know, it was like an MP3 player or something back then, and everyone had to listen to everyone, like one other person's music the whole time.
What,
It was
you
good though.
Didn't have headphones.
And then headphones, like noise-cancelling headphones, came onto the market. I think I was the first one, and then
With your
Elliot
Bose
shortly
35s.
joined, and
What
then you
year
did
was
too.
this?
Yeah.
Jesus.
To 15, to 16.
As
Yeah.
if noise cancelling headphones are so recent.
Well, it used to just be
Sort of.
the AirPod
Yeah.
white ones that you used to
Really?
have, and that
Yeah.
was basically it.
Oh.
Yeah, definitely.
Or else you looked like
Come
an
a long
idiot
way.
having the big ones, and now they've come kind of back now with the noise cancelling. So
Yeah.
Interesting.
yeah, but it was a nice office. I thought, like it was
Yes.
floorboards,
Yeah.
tall ceilings in
Location
Armidale.
was very fancy. Armadale.
Had the nice little Euro lounge downstairs.
Exactly, very nice French bakery.
And what was good about that? What 3 or 4 in the afternoon?
They gave
What
us all the leftover pastries.
Yeah, we all got
Yeah,
big.
yeah. We
But
got.
it was so good.
Let's move back there.
We got over it. It was a
And then
good
Adrian, who
place.
you're still friends with as well, he racked up a bit of a bill at that place.
I think
didn't he?
at some point he had like a 4 grand coffee bill, a tab, yeah, and then he started paying.
How did
it
they
off
let
in
him get away
installments.
with it? Like,
Yeah.
Oh,
so
he-
surely you get to like
He's a
1,000.
likable
Yeah.
fella, so you're like, he's got to pay, and he did eventually pay, so it was all
hilarious.
good. But yeah, it was quite high.
it's like 1,000 coffees back then, because they were only like $3, $3.50 back in the day.
Yeah, but some people had like 3 or 4 at least.
Yeah, per day.
Per day,
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah.
Not hard. Nice.
It was
Well, yeah.
yeah, sorry, you
I'm
go.
just thinking, Flo, I'm going to put this out there. I think you're the most interesting member of the team.
Whoa,
Yeah.
big call.
I'm going to call that
In a good way.
in a good way
In a good way.
because
Thank you.
Like in terms of he's got lots of things going on.
as far as my perspective, Flo has every single hobby under the sun. Has
Or
done
knows something
everything.
about everything, doesn't
Yeah,
he? Yeah.
has done everything. Like worked in all these different random areas, and they just like they sprinkle out in various conversations. So I'm interested in delving into your history.
Yeah,
And
I would say
your
I'm
life.
probably jack of all trades, master of none. If I would
I don't
describe
think
myself.
that's true. We've seen your bread. You're at least a master of
Master
making
of
bread.
one.
Master of one. I like the bacon.
Okay, yeah, master of one. We'll give you that.
Yeah, so if you had to put like your high priority interests and hobbies, what would they be? Things that you can't live without. Yeah.
It really changes over time. And as Emily said, it's a bit of a curse because I'm very curious, I guess, by nature in terms of I do want to do and know about like a lot of things. And then that's why I think I do spend a lot of time on sort of getting into different, sometimes seemingly random hobbies. And yes, it changes definitely over time. Back in the days, it was very sort of heavily focused on sports, all sort of sports from like, I don't know, early on, like table tennis, soccer, ice hockey, taekwondo, handball, badminton.
You see what I mean?
You name it.
But all competitive sports, though, mostly. It's not you're playing golf or something, which is kind of competitive
too.
But
Very competitive against yourself.
it's like team sports, though, that you're kind of keen on.
Yeah, team sports and individual sports. So both. It was very, very sort of sports heavy. And then as I got a bit older, I got into different things. I always had a very keen interest in cooking, and therefore sort of baking wasn't too far off. And I have to mention that I did not get into the sourdough baking during COVID like everyone else. I didn't jump
before
on the
the
bandwagon
trend.
Way before.
You're gatekeeping.
We're talking a decade before.
Oh my
I just
God.
want to mention that.
Because you got a pizza oven at home and you make your own bread. And
As I said, I really enjoy cooking. I think the reason for that is because as a project manager in software development, you don't really do anything with your hands. Like I don't have any tangible sort of outcome, a product I can touch. And I think doing something you can see with your own hands, you can touch, you can eat, is a great sort of things to balance things out on
to
that
get those
side.
senses pumping.
Exactly.
So you've revolved your entire life around project management as the centre.
I wouldn't say the centre, but
Wow,
it's
really?
definitely part of my daily routine as a job.
Makes sense.
It's the income earner, so you can do whatever you want
Exactly.
outside of when you're not working.
Exactly, that's right.
Yeah, I think working with your hands is so important. You do your art and things, well, you haven't for a while now, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Tell me, Emily. have
Jay
you?
putting me on blast on the podcast. I like
blast.
to do craft, embroidery,
Nice.
baking.
Yeah.
But
And how much of that stuff have you done recently? Because
I do, the problem is baking is expensive because eggs and butter is expensive. And the way I like to bake, there's a lot of butter and eggs
A lot of
involved.
butter, yeah.
So I'd just be doing embroidery and things like
Embroidery,
that.
nice.
That I have the materials on hand, so there's no upfront cost. Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
What's the most
but-
expensive sport or hobby that you've got currently, do you think? Is it the sourdough bread? Or
No,
is it-
that's actually pretty cheap. If you think about the ingredients,
Flour.
they're cheap. It's
Yeah.
flour, and I do buy the really nice organic one, but still that's a couple of bucks for like a 5 kilo bag, which
Oh, really? That's good.
will bake you 20 breads. So it is really cheap. It's
Fishing?
just time.
You got your boat?
Yeah, yes, boat. I mean, everyone who owns a boat knows it's an acronym for bring out another 1,000, which is pretty accurate because there's always something broken. I had it for a year now, and if my mate listens, he probably won't. But if he does, he will probably like rip out his hairs because, we've used it once, and every time you want to put it back in the water, there's something, a little thing, a battery, or this is not working or that. And it is a costly hobby, but hopefully we'll get the reward soon on the water with some nice fish. So I think in terms of hobbies, that is expensive. I think that's probably
What
the
about your
most
fishing
expensive.
underwater? What's that called again?
Spear fishing.
Yeah, that.
Free diving. That is, if I have to rank my hobbies, if we get back to that question, I would probably be right now spearfishing for the last couple of years. Top of my list just because, it's so nice to sort of harvest something that you can eat and share with your family and friends and cook it up at the end of the day. And it's a very sort of different skill that that was hard to master and still is hard to master, like holding your breath underwater for prolonged times and then finding fish and being still and shooting it and getting it and
I think you're right. Just listening to that, that's one of the sports that you have an outcome of, right? You can play soccer, and then by the end of soccer, it's just you've left it on the field.
Yeah,
but
you've got a good
with
sweat on
fishing-
ideally, but
But with fishing, you get to eat something.
And even if you don't get anything, which happens sometimes, most of the time I get something, but sometimes you don't. And even then, it's just like you're in a different environment. I feel like the ocean, and it is so calming because there's no phones, there's no people talking to you. You don't hear anything but the ocean, and you're just underwater. It's just yourself, and it's very, very relaxing, very calming. So that's I think why I like it so much because if you have a toddler at home screaming and shouting the whole day,
go away,
and a
get
wife
under the
doing the
water for a
same,
bit.
exactly. You just need sometimes some quiet time, and this is a perfect opportunity to get that for me. Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Okay, back to project management.
I was-
Or do you
hang on,
want
I've got
to?
one.
Sorry.
No,
Okay.
still on the sport thing.
Yeah.
I realised I've been kind of bike riding for the last 3 years or so now. Got a lot fitter. I used to be a bit more Overweight and a bit depressed and all that. But like, yeah, I think with the sport and everything, just getting away and doing those types of things, it's such a big mental health thing as well. Yeah.
Huge. Yeah, totally.
And I find too, like I went last weekend to the Melbourne Marathon. I didn't actually do it, but I was spectating some friends.
Yeah.
I was thinking like the amount of energy, there's 20,000 people doing 40Ks or 20Ks. I mean,
Crazy.
that's so much energy. Imagine if you put that energy into...
If you convert it into electricity.
into power or something, you'd probably power Melbourne for a day or something. But I'm just wondering, like, do you find using energy or trying to use it for something that you can not only get a sweat on and feel healthy, that like with your fishing, that there's a
bigger reward?
Yeah. Or is that not on what you're thinking?
No. I think it's a good point. Definitely, like a reward out of that is definitely a big plus. But I feel, for example, with exercising, that I personally get a big sort of reward and satisfaction out of that. I just feel good, as you said. Like you feel just happier. It definitely lifts your mood and just like overall everything. So I think it's a really important.
Yeah, it's confidence and a whole bunch of different stuff. Yeah. Good. Sorry, Emily.
Nice.
Project management.
Back to project management. No, I'm just interested in how do you even become a project manager?
Project manage what?
Sorry, project manager.
How did I get into this?
Yeah, I'm just curious. Like, is it something like? Do you come out of school being like, I'm going to be a project manager? Like, what's the path that kind of leads you towards
I think
it?
it's interesting because you can obviously obtain these days certain certifications that are specifically tailored to make you a good project manager and give you all the tools that you need to be successful in that realm. But I think most people come from some sort of background, and again, like a project can be managed with sort of different focus areas. You can come from a finance background, and then this is sort of more your area where you look into the financial side of things. You could come from an engineering point of view, so you look more at the technical stuff, the engineering things, software, be it construction, whatever. For me personally, like my background is I studied economics, so I got a commerce degree, an economics degree, strategic management. And it was sort of randomly, I sort of got into that. I had a few friends who worked at at an agency in Germany. It was relatively small, like smallish, like 50 people. And they got bought by a really, really big company, Publicis, like one of the biggest agencies in the world. And just after I started there, and I was initially a bit like more like an account manager. And then I sort of randomly got into the project management, and I liked it, and the client liked me. It was like Audi back in Germany, the car brand. And I worked there a couple of years for like Audi and Volkswagen as a project manager for that agency. And kind of sort of stayed in it. And when I came to Australia, I thought, why not keep doing what you're doing? Like, why would you start from scratch, especially in a new country? So naturally, I was looking for project management roles, and
So how did you?
I ended up here.
I was just thinking, like, you have no background in like web dev. Like, did you know you wanted to do like software kind of development, project management?
I should have mentioned it. So the agency I started working with, they were like a full service 360 degree with everything. Right. But a big part of it was like sort of consulting in the tech realm, but also like building software. And sort of that's how I got into that. But could have been
I just feel like industry. So much about like software. I was like, surely that's not just.
You don't know many people that are in high school that go, I want to be a project manager.
I don't know many.
And I think it just becomes naturally like when you start working and doing something, you have to project manage yourself and you manage other things, and then you're like, I'm actually quite good at this, and then you get training and. I don't know, it seems like it's a more organic role that people go into versus it being something that people really want to do from the start.
And I'm sure people have sort of different focus points. Like some people might be really, really good with the planning and managing the plan itself and executing that, and others might be really focused on the people, like managing people who like either your stakeholders, clients, or your team. So my personal preference is I think I'm a people's person. I would consider myself a people's person. I really like working with people, and this is the sort of the side of things, project management, that really gives me joy. I really enjoy interacting with people, with the team, with clients, most clients. And I think this is a rewarding sort of part of it as well. Just like making sure that people can work to their best abilities and are happy in their jobs and deliver like a good product for the company and also for the client.
I think it's so important. One of the good key things that you do is you go and actually ask the team every so often, how you doing, how you feeling, what's up. We do it every couple of weeks, but I think that one-on-one interaction is quite important to really understand how someone's going, and if they're liking the project they're on, if they've got some personal issues, they don't have to tell you, but I'm just dealing with some stuff. Whatever it might be. How do you find that helps you do your job?
Absolutely. And I'm guilty of, like, obviously with having a family, your head, like, after work goes home pretty much straight away. You probably know it's you gotta think ahead and what to do with the kid and everything. So back in the days when I was when I didn't have a family or like kids, then you have a lot more time, I think, even after work, to sort of dedicate your headspace and your mental capacity to work things, and also like maybe talk to your teammates after your colleagues after work. And this is something I do want to do a bit more, sort of getting back into the habit to maybe have more like catch-ups and one-on-ones and with the team, because I definitely think it's a very, very important part of the job, just keeping up and understanding and knowing where people at and helping them to achieve what they want to achieve. Because at the end of the day, if the people are not happy, then they won't deliver a good outcome. And
it could be as simple as they don't feel they're being heard.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
And Steve Jobs used to do this. This is where I got it from a couple of years ago. We used to do walk and talks, and it'd be just walking around the block. I remember doing that a long time ago in Armidale. And I'd walk around the block, see how people are going, talk, and if we needed to, we'd do another walk. And you just keep going until they've done enough.
Wait, did you do that? Just thinking.
They walk up the stairs back to the office. Did it with Flo. Walk back up, and I'd say, grab whoever, Adrian, whatever. They walk down.
Tag team out. That's a good way to get your steps in.
Exactly.
I was just thinking with the speed at which Flo walks, did you like speed run the block?
Yeah, I've got to put the brakes on.
Speaking of Steve Jobs, I also heard that he would sometimes, I'm not sure if this is like an urban myth, but sometimes he would walk into an elevator.
Who's this?
Steve Jobs.
Oh, yeah.
Back in the days. And obviously he walks into the elevator and people in the elevator, and he would randomly turn around. It's like, what's your name and what do you do? And literally like the 20, 30 or 10 seconds it would take to get to the level he wanted to get off, or the person wanted to get off, he would assess if that person was a valuable asset. And sometimes he would just like, what, man, doesn't make any sense, you're fired. I'm not sure if this is true. But
I mean, I feel like it sounds on brand for him.
I don't know. I mean, it's pretty harsh, but then also like, okay, like 10 seconds and you sort of know someone is good or not. Okay, maybe,
I read the Steve Jobs book, the autobiography or whatever it was. It's pretty amazing how cutthroat he was, but that's
I think you have to. Yeah. Glad you're not like that.
No.
Well, not yet.
You wouldn't.
Not yet. You could get there.
I think you wouldn't retain people for 8 years plus if you were like that. I think,
exactly.
Yeah.
That's one of my favourite things, and it's even mentioned on the website that we've got an average 5-year retention rate with our staff.
Good.
And you being almost 10, Ali's like 8 or something.
Yeah.
Oh, same as you.
Yeah, I think he was a couple of months earlier, and then he had a brief stint, and then he came back.
We've spoken about that. I think there was a week away, and he's like, "I want to come back."
Yeah.
No, it was nice.
It's not greener on the other side.
No, exactly.
Goodness. Okay.
I don't know what else to ask.
Really? There's so much.
There is so much, but I don't know.
Ask
How long
me
have we
anything.
been going? 20 minutes.
AMA. Ask me anything.
I want to know more about, obviously, kids, work, all these hobbies.
Yeah.
You've obviously got to have a plan or a schedule. I know, for instance, every day you come into work, you've got your plastic container with healthy food.
I do.
What's your preparation? Do you start on a Sunday? Do you cook and prep?
I do. In terms of like, I do, and I think it's very important. It's the food prep or like the meal prep for the week is, for me again, this is something sort of that is like
you've been doing forever,
relaxing, sort of calming as well. So on a Saturday, usually my Saturday, I'll go shopping. Sometimes with Maxi, sometimes by myself. Go to the market. I buy everything. I buy stuff in larger quantities. which again is cost effective and also allows me to then on Sunday to sort of cook everything, and I'll cook and I pack everything for myself, and I cook 2 sort of or 3 dishes in sort of big batches that I set aside for the missus, so she can.
So she eats similar to you?
She eats similar to me. Yeah, she doesn't eat as much meat, but she definitely eats the sort of the bulk things that I cook. Yeah, I'll prepare everything, and every day then I'll prepare a little, as you said, a little container for breakfast, which is just oats and fruits that I have in the morning. I think prepping, my sort of overall philosophy when it comes to that is I think 80-20, so 80% of the time I try to be really good, eat healthy, eat the right amounts of protein and fats and carbs, and then 20% of the time I can do whatever and gorge on things and go.
Because you're doing your kind of calorie intake or whatever you call it on a micro level now, aren't you? You're really looking at...
but I'm not calorie counting or anything. I just know sort of... roughly my macros, what I should intake every day based on sort of my exercise regime that I'm doing and based on obviously the outcome you want to achieve. And I'm not counting anything. And I know sometimes I just eat more than I should and sometimes I eat less, but I don't really care because at the end of the day I sort of have worked it out and the overall sort of overarching goal works for me.
And the alcohol you've really pulled off as well. Like it's just, and I've recently, only the last 2 weeks, started to not have any alcohol either, except for maybe a 0% beer or something as well. Yeah. You do notice you're a lot more alert. You can sleep a lot better.
Agree.
You don't feel so sluggish or bloated.
Totally.
And what are the key things for you for for you reducing? Even though again, that one of your hobbies is being a mixologist.
Yes, I love cocktails. So the alcohol thing is sort of hard and not hard. It is hard because I love alcohol, like most of it. I'm not a big beer drinker, but I really like wine and I really like good cocktails, either at a cocktail bar or even making them at home. And I got all the equipment, all the ingredients at home. So sometimes I'm just looking at my shelves and I'm like, I could do this and that. That would be nice right now. But as you said, I heavily sort of reduced it since start of the year. And I can definitely feel it. It's a lot better. I think for me, especially, it's the sleep. Not drinking really helps the quality overall of my sleep, and then obviously that translates into everything, into the rest of your life.
I remember when we first started at the Commons up in South Melbourne, we saw that they had a beer tap and they had...
and everyone was like hammering it. I remember that sometimes on a Tuesday,
I know.
You'd be like, at lunch, why not have a beer? But
and then you come here to Central House, which is a little bit more bougie, a little bit more upmarket, and you don't ever see anyone tapping that tap at all.
Not many.
No.
Not many. It's true. Yeah.
Well, there are a certain office that are near us in the building that do make
we
use.
can't mention who they are.
No, but they make use of the tap for the rest of the building, I will say that. Yeah.
It's probably a well-known thing that this particular industry that they're in like to drink.
Yeah, I think they have to.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they start early in the week and they start borderline morning.
Our office is completely opposite them. And you're right. Midday. Sometimes
midday on a Wednesday.
Like, is that a beer on their table?
Another one? Okay. Yeah.
It's fun to watch through the glass windows.
It is interesting. But I think another sort of aspect of that is I think, again, I know I'm going back to that sort of having kids, you're just like, your energy levels are a lot lower, like by default, and sort of you try to stay away from anything that would drain it even more. So obviously alcohol is something you can't just like lounge on the couch after like a big night and recover and sleep and watch Netflix because there are kids running around.
That's right, and you got to get up with a horrible headache.
Exactly. So you think twice.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
We'll dive it into project management. I know Emily's trying to get us into that. So we use Jira. And we use Teamboard. There's a whole bunch of tools to run our projects, but we also have a whole bunch of support, maintenance, updates, ad hoc work that comes in. We've been trying to figure out how to do that in a way in which the team are feeling comfortable, they're not overloaded, it's not distracting them as much from project work and getting that done to a high quality too.
Yeah.
We haven't figured out, and I don't think we ever will, because it changes so much. It's kind of like if you've got a hairdresser and you're trying to book as many people, but you don't know how long this appointment's going to last, and they asked for colour, and that's another hour, and...
Yeah, you never know if at the end you present them their haircut and they're going to be like, actually, I hate it.
Can you do this too?
Start again.
And it's like half an hour, and you tell them it's going to be more money. Oh my gosh, so... It's
Yeah, I think
project managers.
Yeah, I think
delight.
It's a known sort of issue. I think many companies and many agencies who like run multiple projects at the same time, and obviously do maintain like projects and clients run into that issue. And I don't think this is the silver bullet. I think there's obviously different ways of tackling it, but. Yeah, I think the way we are doing it, I think we are very, I would call us in a positive way, like very customer centric. I think we're really trying to create a very, very good experience for our customers, and therefore sometimes when we should maybe be a little bit more firm on and push back on certain things, we try to accommodate and get things done as quickly as possible, which sometimes takes a toll on the team because yes, they're jumping around on different projects, but I think overall, it is I think one of our unique selling points that why clients come to us or come back to us, because they really like that service, the quick turnaround and the quality we do, even sometimes on very short notice. So it's a bit of a double-edged sword.
We seem to maintain our client base as well, for years of retention.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the major things. They come to us because they haven't felt like they've been heard or they're undervalued. A lot of the clients that we've come, even some of the clients that you're working with, Emily, have come to us simply because they just weren't getting the job done on time. They felt like they were second or third in the list, or in priority at all times. And I think we like to connect. We do our weekly updates with every client that's got an active project. Any support we try and get scheduled in as much as we can. Yeah, you're head of schedule as well, and you're trying to wriggle things around.
Everything. Yeah.
And then, we've had some clients even this week that we thought that they were ready to go into production, and then like, oh no, put that on hold, and then everything that you've queued, that has to go somewhere. Exactly. It has to go into a backlog and all that time and effort scheduling.
Yeah. So there's a lot of like sort of moving parts. It's a chess table that sort of constantly changes. But on the other hand, that's sort of part of the game and also part of the challenge. And I think if it was always exactly as planned, I'm not saying it would be boring, but it would be a little bit boring maybe. So just like getting a curveball sort of thrown into the mix every now and then is not necessarily a bad thing if you can still control everything and again keep the clients and also your team happy. Yeah.
I've got one question which could be a curveball too.
Sure.
How much project management should be on the project manager or on the team member?
I guess that heavily depends on the team member and the project
themselves,
manager.
Yeah, because everyone works differently.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think there's people who have very good self-management skills, time management, task management, and also very good stakeholder sort of management skills, talking to clients, getting back to them quickly with the right answer. And then there's people who prefer to do everything through a project manager or like a lead developer because they maybe not as confident in talking to customers. And I think therefore you got to sort of assess it on a case-by-case basis, depending on, again, the skill set of the team member and also the sort of the scope of the project. Sometimes if it's really, really technical, it is hard for the project manager to sort of translate, and it's a little bit like Chinese whispers. Like there might be things that could get lost sort of in the process. So I think in that case, it's always better to have the more technical person, the developer, talking directly to the stakeholder, hopefully with the same sort of level of technical knowledge, and the project manager sort of stays in CC.
Because the project manager has to know a little bit about everything. It's like
exactly.
It's like you knowing a little bit about everything too.
Exactly.
Because if you came in as a project manager and you were working on a construction site and you try and come in and do digital, it's a whole different...
Completely different. Yeah. I think, if I would be in construction, I had no idea about the vast majority and vice versa. So, it's funny because you pick up and you're not aware of how much you actually know until someone sort of asks you questions. It's like, how do you know this? How do you know that? And you're like, I guess I just picked it up over the years. And
because you've become pretty damn good at HubSpot and all the integration paths and all the database controls and content. And now you can talk to a lot of our clients that are on HubSpot about, that's possible, that's not possible. There's a way to do that or whatever.
Yeah, so. I think for me personally, it's just like if I feel that people with sort of technical knowledge cannot bullshit me, at least to a degree where I'm like, I know you're bullshitting.
Yeah,
like
it's not going to take you 4 days. We know it's a half hour.
Exactly, be it estimates or something, or just like getting sort of the big picture and sort of understanding complexity. I think this is sort of that's what I would like to take away from that. I think if I'm in that sort of position, I'm like I'm happy. I don't have to be like super detailed and super involved, but that I do wanna know. Yeah.
I'm curious. You say we're very customer centric. How do you handle the parts of talking to clients where you have to be kind of mean?
Well, I don't think you have to be mean.
Well, not mean, but you have to be kind of firm. Yeah. Because I feel like you're very good at it. Yeah.
I to be honest,
like drawing the line.
Yeah, and maybe that's German. The German is because Germany. I can tell you, like it's a lot more harsh in terms of the responses you get from clients and also the response you can give to clients. It's just like it's a different. I think it's just like a different. It is seen in a different way, and it's not considered rude. It's just the way it is. They are very don't beat about the bush. Just like get straight into it.
Yeah.
And and therefore I think you can do it in a polite and sort of nice way. And you can. I think the main thing is you got to explain your reasoning. Like if you just say no, that is something people won't understand. But if you say, hey, the reason why is this, and then they're like, okay, I get it, and we're trying everything to make this happen, but you gotta be patient a little bit. Yeah.
It seems like people can be easily offended these days, and it's you've just got to understand that, I guess, and reassure, like you're saying, and explain why.
And I think in many instances, people perceive, like especially in email, written communications as harsh, and I don't know, add a smiley face or
I know, I do that, and I
just
feel like I'm being overly happy in emails.
Yeah, but I sometimes do that too, because I just want to make sure, hey, I'm not going to soften the blow, but I do want to make sure that I don't mean this in a mean way. I'm like, hey, I'm here, like I hear you, and I just want to, I'm friendly. It's my friendly voice. If you would have me on the phone, like, hey, you know what? Like, we'll make
and
it
if you want
happen.
that kind of stuff, I found there's a good Chrome extension for Any GIFs. And
it friendly.
It just feeds an animated GIF, like you just said, I'm like worried, and it's just like someone, and it just adds a bit more emotion to it and lets them know you're not like being brutal.
I know what Emily means. It's like it's a slippery slope. Like when it becomes too sleazy or too, I don't know. Sometimes you gotta be like, oh, do I put that smile? Or maybe I just.
Of course, you put a smiley in every email.
But I think
no,
over time,
you don't.
though,
but that's what you should do.
You develop a rapport with people. Like Dave, I reckon you could tell him
yeah.
to go get stuffed.
I could.
And he would know that it's coming from a good place.
Yeah.
But I think, and that's what I've got with a lot of our long-term clients too, is you can take them out for dinners. The next day, they could be really angry at you for something that you've forgotten. But they know genuinely that you're doing a really good job and that you're doing everything you can for them. Sometimes you slip up, and that happens. They're not going to leave you because of one little thing either. So I think it's just relationship management too.
Yeah, and I think therefore it's getting harder and harder because a lot of our clients we have never, or we only meet very rarely, like face to face. And I think establishing like a face to face relationship and having in-person meetings is very important to just gauge the relationship and also to make sure that you understand the other side as well. So I think having face-to-face meetings, I mean, sometimes it's just inconvenient because, hey, why not Zoom? But I think exactly for that, making sure that you have that connection, at least initially, and then you can maybe go your ways and then you can have your meetings on Zoom. It's pretty important.
What percentage of the clients do you think you've met face-to-face?
I think I've
The
met
ones you work with? Yeah.
almost all of them.
Oh, really?
Almost.
Like we're catching up with Buller for drinks soon.
Yeah.
Last week we caught up with VMCH for breakfast.
Yeah. I'm just thinking with my clients, I feel like it's probably 50%.
Yeah.
Well, the bank one we caught up at the start of the year. We went up to the Northern Rivers.
But I feel like a lot of the ones I haven't met are in different states.
Yeah, there's some of them like...
Or like regional.
Like Menka. That you'll probably never meet. Just a different industry, different business. And the amount of, sometimes clients as well, the employee turnover is so vast.
Yes.
Well, that can be hard, too. Like, particularly that is the issue, is I've met clients, built a rapport, and then all of a sudden they're gone. Yep.
And it's like, oh man, and then you got to do it again.
Yeah, exactly. And it's really hard.
Stop fluttering your eyebrows.
Yeah, transfer that over to someone new.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard.
Yeah.
We could talk for ages. Do you want to do the speed round?
Oh yeah, speed round.
Yeah.
What's the speed run?
He obviously hasn't been listening to the last 11
you
episodes,
haven't
but no,
listened to the
you'll
podcast?
enjoy this.
Okay.
This is the speed round.
right,
It's
you
very
ready for it?
exciting. It's
Okay.
fast questions.
I sort of got that. Yeah. Guessed that.
Wow, you're so smart. Okay, creative or code?
Creative.
Favorite design tool?
Favorite designer? I'm not a designer.
I think I'm not going to say. You can say. But one recent, I think you like.
Figma.
Figma, definitely, yeah.
Because we can do content management. in
Yes,
there.
we can do some sort of content management with that, and it's also very nice for QA with all the specs. So I like Figma, yeah, easy to
Nice.
use. Yeah.
What's your favorite website?
My favorite website. Well, I mean, I have to say it has to be. I don't know.
What's a daily website? Is it like a news one or hobby interest one?
Spearfishing.com.
Footscray
.gov.
Market.
No, honestly, like I can't really think of. I mean, there's obviously product-based. Like, yes, I like it because I like the products. But
Are you a social media user? No.
not really. I mean, I do have a Facebook account, which I only keep because there's a couple of spearfishing and hunting groups,
Okay,
and then there's the marketplace, which I like to
And the
use.
events, if you get invited to things. Yeah.
Exactly, and then Instagram is the other one, and that's it. Like, other than that,
What about YouTube? Are you a YouTube
oh,
watcher?
actually, I watch a lot of YouTube and YouTube. Okay.
Spearfishing videos?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Everything that
Oh yeah?
Yeah, DJ stuff.
a little bit,
Not as
yeah.
much these days.
But if you look at my my sort of homepage, my landing page now on YouTube, it will likely be spearfishing, hunting, and how to connect dual batteries to your boat and the whole wiring.
man.
I'm like,
I feel like
oh boy.
the algorithm might be so confused about who
Yeah,
you are.
too
You've got
much
too
going
many
on there.
interests. It's
Yeah.
True.
probably
Sometimes
like
I get really random, like redneck content, like probably from the hunting. I'm like, how? No, I don't want this.
nice. On that note, what is the
Yeah.
first app you open every day?
The first app I opened, that is actually this is the very first. It's a bit of a promotion here. It's called Morpheus. It's a fitness app, and that comes with they offer a chest heart rate monitor that you can strap on your chest. And every morning when I get up,
So you sleep with it?
No, I don't. You don't sleep with it. You put it on every morning when you get up, and then I lay down on the couch. I get up at 5:30, and before I go to the room, I lay on the couch, and for 2.5 minutes, it does an assessment. So it checks your heart rate variability, and gives you sort of a range for your different sort of heart rate zones in terms of training, where you should.
Okay.
Where you should focus on if you want to train in zone 2, zone 3, zone 4, whatever. So this is the
That's
first
the
app
zones.
that I check in the morning. I lay on the couch. My cat is like jumping around on me, and I'm trying to like
Relax.
really relax and still to keep my heart rate low. And then it sort of assesses that. And that is the first app I definitely open in the morning. And the second one is the Tesla app, probably to just like precondition the car if it's cold, make sure it's warm, the heat, the seats are heated, and the cabin temperature is like nice. If you get out in
So by the time you get in it, it's all good to go.
It's like 22 degrees, and everything is on, and you're just like,
Such specific
Take me to work.
answers.
yeah, that would be the second app.
And then I'm thinking weather, because you look at the wind and all that stuff for kite surfing, etc.
Kite surfing has actually dropped dramatically on my list of hobbies. I still really, really like it, but yeah, I don't know. Like, I haven't done it in, I would say, a year and a half.
Really?
Even. Yeah, my brother is like in Germany, who used to live here in Australia. He's just shaking his head. He's like, I don't understand. Like,
There's so much wind out there at the moment.
exactly. What's going on? Why don't you? And I'm like, I'm just not that interested.
Fair enough.
I will. I mean, it's an amazing sport. Don't get me wrong, but yeah, right now I have other priorities.
So much for speed round too. Anyway, let's keep moving.
Coffee or tea?
Coffee, but I also like tea. But in the morning, a coffee, but not a coffee.
What kind of tea do you drink?
I
I don't
would
think I've
think
ever seen
Earl
you.
Grey.
Oh, okay.
Earl Grey with a dash of milk.
I did
You
not
don't
know
drink
that
tea
either.
at work, right? I've never seen you drink a cup of tea.
Do we have?
Yeah, it's all
We have
good.
Earl Grey. We have French Earl Grey.
Yeah.
Apparently
yeah.
it's bad, though.
My parents drink Earl Grey. Hang on, they drink one coffee, just one, and then they drink tea for breakfast. So I was always like, but I'm more a coffee drinker.
I see.
these days.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Dark mode or light mode?
light mode,
Mac or PC?
Mac.
Work from home or work from office?
Oh, that's a good one.
Questionable.
It depends. I think a hybrid is a good approach because working. I think everyone was just like during COVID. It was like this is horrible. It was nice the first couple of months, but then you got really lonely. So I think being at work and interacting with people and seeing people face to face is really good. So again, I would say I'm a half.
You're in between.
Yeah.
Cats or dogs?
I like both. I did own one dog with a girlfriend back in the days, but it was more her dog. I always had cats. Right now we have a cat as well.
What's your cat's name? I think we'll never hear about this cat.
Why? No, we just got it recently.
Oh, really?
Okay.
Yeah.
Didn't know that.
These are the kind of news that Flo just drops.
Is it a typical cat name?
You can guess.
Max.
No, it can't be Max.
No.
Both of the kids are called Max.
It has something to do with his favorite TV show, Thomas the Tank.
Oh, Tom.
Percy.
Oh, Percy.
Percy,
nice.
the green train. He
Yeah.
really wanted to name the cat Percy, so we named her Percy. And then we found out it's a girl. And Percy is
Percy's
a boy's
a-
name, but it
think
works.
it works,
It works
yeah.
for both. Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
What's your favorite font?
My favorite font.
What's the best font for project management?
Boy. I don't know. I have to come back to
It's not a priority for you, I guess.
No, not really. It's more like the content than the.
I like that. Good answer. What's your favorite snack while working?
While working,
Yeah.
I'm not really snacking that
yeah,
much
that's
at
true.
work, so I
You don't
guess
even take any lollies out of the lolly jar.
No, I
I've
stopped
stopped
that.
doing
But
that
if you're
too.
in like 3 p.m. and you're like, oh my God, I cannot possibly
You have
look
an
at my
apple.
screen
Look,
any
there's one
longer.
right here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I
That's such a-
I go through a lot of apples, but like today I walked on my lunch break to Cold Black Coffee and I got a chocolate fudge brownie.
Oh, what?
very
Yes,
nice.
hiding them from us.
I just ate just one and I ate it on the way back, and it hit the spot. It was
Yeah, it does
perfect.
Have you found a croissant that suits your standard around
No,
here?
unfortunately, like nothing wrong with the Woodfrog Bakery, but I only had one croissant from them, and that was unfortunately not very flaky. But yeah, the
It's
agave
quite
guys,
mushy.
yeah, it's really like sort of chewy and dense, which happens if it sits there for. I think once fresh out of the oven, it would be very nice, but I think it was just sitting on the shelf for too long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
High standards.
No. Yes.
Pineapple on pizza.
Look. No, I don't care. Like, do like this.
What do you mean you
Love
don't
it.
care? You have
Love
opinions
pineapple.
about every food thing in existence.
And I
We know
think-
you have an opinion.
Yeah,
Tell us what it is.
To be honest, like I'm not like religious about it. I think whatever floats your boat, whatever like you like, put it on. Like
Yeah, but for you?
this for me personally, I'm not a big fan of the Hawaii pizza. I know people who like it.
Un-Australian. How dare
Yeah,
you.
but honestly,
Deported
there's so many
immediately.
crazy pizza flavors out there, and this is very sort of mainstream. I can tell you that
Well,
much.
certainly
Pineapple.
in Australia,
Yeah.
it's like one of our 2 favorite pizzas in the entire country.
My brother used to like it too. With ham, it's ham, yeah. And
Yeah,
then pineapple.
ham, pineapple, yeah.
Yeah, I
Bit
don't
of
know.
cheese, tomato paste.
So good.
Nah.
It'd be good if you could burn the pineapple a bit, give it a
You
bit of
can
texture.
just use it,
A flame torch or whatever.
yeah, flame torch,
I don't
blowtorch,
think
yeah.
the pizzerias in regional Australia that
not doing
pioneered
that.
the Hawaiian pizza like get the
Yeah,
torch
go
out.
cool, mate.
Quick.
Go make them a pineapple.
It takes 2 seconds, literally. Like,
Oh my God.
yeah, it's a good idea.
Now we know the answer to this one. Summer or winter?
Look, for the first, no, honestly, for the
Really?
first 20 years of my life, I wanted to live far away in the mountains, ideally 365 days, winter and snow, because I loved like snowboarding, skiing so much. And then as I got older, I sort of discovered this, the ocean, and now I'm like more like an ocean person. So it's nicer to be in the water when it's warm, so therefore summer. But having that said, I really like the seasons. I wouldn't want to live somewhere like, I don't know, up north, far north Queensland, where it's like always hot. I think the seasons have,
Their perks.
have their
the
perks.
perks and appeals,
Nice.
and it's nice. Yeah.
City or country?
Again, back in the days, I grew up as a country kid, a country boy. And then when I started uni, I was like, how the hell can you live in the country? There's nothing happening, it's boring, and it has to be the city for the rest of my life. And then you start having family, and then you like sort of in between. So I think ideally somewhere fringe, but not too fringy. Suburbia. I know it sounds boring and very stereotypical, but it's just what works. And you do want to give your kids a good upbringing and space, and not cars around, and so
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Final question. Would you rather a time travel into the past or into the future?
Past.
And what year and why? There's follow-up questions.
Well, not specifically what year, but would you like to go way back?
What era?
Or?
Yes, I think I would go away. I wouldn't. I'm not 1,000 years or something, but I think I would be curious, more like to see. I'm not really. I don't really care about the people. I think it's more like how the planet was like. I don't know, 300-400 years ago. Sort of the biodiversity, and again thinking.
Yeah, would it smell different too?
Yeah,
right?
exactly. There's no pollution, and the oceans would be, I guess, teeming with all sorts of creatures, fish, and you could spearfish, and you could hunt, and it would just be.
You'd be out there in your little, feather.
I would probably. You'd probably get eaten by like a shark because there's some giant sharks around, or like whatever, like saber-toothed tigers and whatever,
or an angry
jumped
koala
around. Yeah, but no, I would. Back in the days, I would have always said future but right now, unfortunately, I'm not sure how much more future we have, and I think I would be very reluctant because I think right now it's very difficult to sort of foresee what's going to happen. If someone says everything is going to go to shit in like 100 years, I
think
it
100
could be
years
right,
is
or less.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I think the way things are progressing, unfortunately, right now, I think a lot of things will get worse rather than better. So therefore, the past would be my choice.
Yeah, if you look at history and you look where it's going, it doesn't look good so far.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, a lot of things gotten better, but yeah.
Classic. Well, that is the end of the speed round. Thank you for your thorough answers.
No worries. Sorry for ruining the speed round.
No, it's just the round.
And if you're interested in working with Flo, definitely get in touch, and he'll be your project manager.
Yeah,
that'd be cool.
If you do need advice on sourdough baking or
any other hobby on earth,
reach out.
Reach out.
Thanks, Flo.
Thanks, Flo.
No worries. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for tuning in to the Creative and Code podcast.
That's all, folks.
We hope you enjoyed this episode and found it as inspiring and entertaining as we did. Remember, there are plenty more episodes to explore, so make sure you keep listening for more creative insights and coding tips. A big shout out to our amazing sponsors and the team at ID Digital Agency for making this podcast possible. Got a story to share or want to be a guest on our show? We'd love to hear from you. Send us a 2-minute or less audio clip to creativeandcode@iddigital.com.au. Suggestions, ideas, or just want to say hi, we're all ears. Thanks again for listening. Until next time, stay creative and keep coding.